All right, so Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Ebonie Jones, former Team GB rep, of course, and soon to turn professional. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not bad, thanks.
And you're currently at the Army Barracks, obviously a serving Royal Engineer. They've
Yeah,
given you some time to speak to us, which we're grateful for. How's it all going there at the moment?
yeah, it's good. I just sort of work in the gym here, so they've been helpful. So it gives me time to train leading up to the debut. Still not obviously as much as I'd like, but I've got to do while I can while I'm in the process of leaving the army. So I'm signed off now, but obviously I can't just leave here straight away.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. Let me take you back a bit as we start, because a lot of people watching this won't know a great deal about you beyond the name and the fact that you were on Team GB for a long time. You got into kickboxing first before traditional boxing, is that right?
Yeah, so I started kickboxing at the age of 10 till about 12. I got to a black belt, and then but I always sort of used my hands more in kickboxing, and used to like do the head movement, and I always like sort of watch Tyson. So I just switched over to boxing really, and then female boxing was in the Olympics in 2012. So I just thought like change over really.
And what was it once you started going to boxing at Heart of Portsmouth? What was it about traditional boxing that kind of took your heart and made you committed to that rather than kickboxing, which you've done for a couple of years?
Um, I don't know really. I suppose if you win a national title in boxing, everyone knows that that's a proper national title. If you win a national title in kickboxing, it could be some made up Mickey Mouse title. Do you know what I mean? There's so many different things. It's not like an official. So yeah, I think that was it really. I just obviously loved the atmosphere of the gym. Yeah, I just sort of loved it.
And was the Olympics always the ambition when you were still quite young, or did you always have it in the back of your mind about turning pro one day? Because female boxing, particularly in the UK, wasn't that big back then.
Yeah, no, it was just Olympics. Yeah, professional. The thought of turning pro was a joke. Um, yeah, it was just the Olympics. So obviously that's the only reason I joined the army. Is the Wi-Fi gone funny? Oh no, that's the only reason I joined the army. They were like headhunted me like a road to Tokyo sort of thing. Then got onto Team GB. So yeah, Olympics was always the goal.
And that you're saying that was the main driving force behind joining the army as well.
Yeah. So I only joined the army to box, and that obviously you can box in the army full time. You're getting paid. I didn't get onto Team GB like when I was sort of going at sixth form / college, and I hated doing all that. So I was like, join the army, and do that.
And how have you found the experience in the army? Because obviously, once you're on Team GB, you didn't have to stay. I know there's a minimum term, but you haven't had to stay for as long as you have, so you must enjoy it.
Yeah. So they call it a tracksuit soldier. So I was just basically like I was a civvy. So once I'd done my little bit on the iBoxing team, I was up Sheffield training with GB pretty much all the time really. Then obviously I come off Team GB, and then it was back on the iBoxing team. Didn't enjoy it so much, so then I just went back to work in the army. But it's good because you've got that. I had that trade behind me that when I did want to stop boxing for a bit, I just go back to work.
How did you find it that at such a young age, travelling away from home, not just to the army, but also to GB and Sheffield, splitting your
Mm.
time between two places that's not where you've grown up?
I didn't mind because from the age of 15, I was going to the airports, and we was going to these like different countries. People, you say people you don't know, but because I love the boxing so much, I didn't care. I just would go wherever to do it, and I'm so used to it. I mean, I left home at 17, joined the army. I've been here 6 years, and to be honest, I've never moved back home. I haven't been back home. I've moved away and sort of, but then when I leave the army, that'll be my first time sort of going back there like properly.
It's going to be a bit weird readjusting to kind of being back in the family home. And I suppose you're used to taking orders, but maybe not from your parents.
Yeah, I know it's going to be, but it will only be for a little bit. Obviously, while I get on back on my feet again, like lucky that they'll let me.
I'm sure they will. Yeah, I'm sure they will. Is it right that the weight you were mainly competing at, 51 kilos, you'd been weighing
Yeah.
it since you were about 12 years old? Is that right?
So basically, yeah, I was boxing at 50 kilos / 51 from the age of like 12 up until, as I was growing up. And even then, I'd be sort of making the weight, sitting in saunas. So for me, like thinking that, trying to convince myself that I could still be 51 kilos to go to the Olympics at the age of 22, I was lying to myself, and it was hard to face because Olympics was the dream. I would have done anything, even though I was putting my body and mind through hell, trying to keep a weight. Like I was willing to do it, but then obviously everything come to a head, and it was just, I can't do it no more.
And when was that? When did you come to the realization that not only could you not make the weight, but that meant
Yeah.
the end of the Olympic dream because the next weight up is so far away?
Yeah, well, Rob McCracken sat me down. I just ended up ballooning right up because I was starving myself. Like at the World Championships, I remember I only ate like a protein bar a day for a week. And even stepping on the scales, I don't know how I won 2 fights even out there. Rob McCracken sat me down and he was like, "Look, Ebonie, we have to force you like to leave. You can come back whenever you sort of make 51 kilo or like near it, say 53 kilo. But until then, we'll have to let you go." He said, "You come in every Monday looking like you're going to your electric chair, and it wouldn't be fair to keep you here anymore." Well, that's how I felt. But so obviously I was gutted, but he probably done me the favour forcing me away.
Was it never an
Because
option to go all the way up to what is it, 58?
57.
57?
No, they never suggested that. They never said, and I didn't really, well, to be honest, even though turning professional, I won't box at 57. It's too big for me. I'll maybe have my first couple of fights getting back into it as I'm like, but I'll always be back down to bantamweight. That's my way. That's what I feel good at.
So you're just a bit unlucky with the way the weights are split out, particularly for the Olympics, because there's only, 4 female weights now?
Yeah, but people now, like, I'm not sad about it because what's happening with the Olympics now anyway, and I think the pro style suits me and it's exciting. I'm fed up of going, like, killing myself to make a weight and going to the arse end of the country and getting having to do everything you can to get a decision or going, like, I want something different. I've been going to European Championships, World Championships since the age of 15 now. I just think turning professional is a lot more exciting.
What is it about your style you think is better suited to the pros?
I just think, I don't know, when you ask that question, it's hard to say. Just the way I box, really. Got aggressive. You got more rounds, rather. So say in the amateurs, so it's 3-3s. I'll be at them constantly. I wouldn't take a step off because you've only got 3 minutes to do it in, and you don't want to give the judges a chance to sort of give the other girl the decision. But in the pros, you got more rounds, and it would give me a chance to probably hurt them. Want to be stopping people with body shots, and you know what I mean. And over more rounds, wearing people down, I think it suits me better.
And did the way female boxing's gone, particularly last year during the pandemic, there was a lot of prominent female fights on TV. Did that help make your decision a lot easier to turn pro?
Yeah, so when I was on GB and we heard that, say, for example, Shannon Courtney, we heard that she turned pro. We was like, what? It's like it was a joke because she's never done anything amateur and she's getting straight to like these world title fights. So it was like, well, if they're turning pro and getting right up there, Simon Vetty hand straight away, people who just about want a Harringay box cut, like didn't really seem like an option. I thought I'd rather stay on GB, but now it's getting bigger and bigger. There's more and more women. It's getting more popular, taken more seriously. Some good money in it. So I just think it is a good option, and I can box whatever way I want as well.
Yeah, I mean, that must be a bit of a encouragement as well. Like you said, someone like that who hasn't achieved half of what you have as an amateur going to where they have, getting those opportunities. Then you look at someone like yourself and some of the others, like Savannah Marshall's obviously a pro now. Ellie Scotney's just turned last year. And with that extra ability and pedigree and experience, you could be fast-tracked even more, potentially.
Definitely. But to be honest, I think it's going to be where I go the hard route again. Like, I don't think I'm going to get that handed to me, them opportunities handed to me, because I've realised now as well, it is business. It's not always just about how good of a fighter you are. Sometimes it's about how many followers you got on Instagram and stuff like that. But obviously, if you're good enough, the opportunities will come. But I just think maybe it'll take me a bit longer because I'm not with signed with the big people. But I'd rather be where I am, people I trust, people I know as good trainers who've been putting all their time into me. And just enjoy it.
How many followers have you got on Instagram?
I've only got about 3,000. 3,000.
Only 3,000.
You know what though? 3,500. But then I follow a lot as well. But you think like really, people have loads, don't they? Like for a boxer, for a professional boxer, some people have loads.
Yeah, but you're only just turning pro, so once you start on that journey, it will grow, I think.
Yeah, not that I care about the followers, but with followers means more sponsors,
It's
more.
profile, yeah, it helps.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
so you said you obviously left Team GB and you were a long time out of the ring, or you have been a long time
Yeah.
out of the ring before deciding to turn pro. And I believe you had quite a tough time during that period where it looked like you might move away from boxing for good. If you're happy to do so, just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so basically, when I come away from Team GB, it was going on while I was still on Team GB. A lot of things going on. I was just in a really, really bad place. So really, me even being back boxing I've come such a long way from where I was a few months ago. A lot of things going on. So obviously, I was so gutted that I wasn't boxing anymore. My whole dream was like GB and Olympics, and that had sort of felt like that had been taken away from me. I'd been in an abusive relationship, but obviously after a long period of time, that will do something to someone's mental health, and just everything really just come to a point where I just couldn't really take much else. Just in a really bad place.
And what did you? Because obviously you're in a much better place now. What did you do
Yeah.
to address it? Did you get help? Did either from your family or professionally or anything like that?
Yeah, so I had a bit out professionally, but I just felt like the boxing has made me keep go back on track. So obviously, I got to a point where I did try to take my life. I was in a hospital, like a mental hospital, not long, like, but obviously they had to just keep there, like, to make sure everything was okay, sort of thing. And then just got back. Training all the time. Like training is like my therapy when I'm not training. So I watched the interview Tyson Fury did before, and I could relate to it so much. He says if he doesn't train for a week, he's severely depressed, and that's the same as me. If I don't train, it's awful. So that's what keeps me going. Keep me on that's what I mean. The straight and narrow. That's what I mean. So obviously, like all the medication in the world, I tried it, and it just didn't really do nothing for me. To be honest, it's training that helps me. So yeah.
It just shows that you never know what people are going through because you're obviously tough. You're in the army. You're a boxer, and people
Yeah.
wouldn't kind of assume that there'd be anything wrong behind all that. But anyone can suffer from these things.
Well, definitely. Well, even with the thing with abusive relationship, when I said it before, I did a video on my Instagram. It's like people say you're a boxer, why don't you just knock him out? And it's so frustrating because, like, if only that was the answer. Do you know what I mean? It's just things like that. Obviously, yeah, nobody knows what goes on. A lot of people do sort of go through things, and then so like the thing with the debut, it's all exciting. But me being even back boxing and being healthy and in a good mindset is massive.
It must be easy for people to forget just how young you are as well, I suppose. Obviously you look even younger than you are, but not only that, you joined the army at 17, you've been a GB rep for 6 years. People must forget, you're still a very young lady and just getting used to life and everything, and you are going to go through stuff and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, definitely. I think everything just all come to a head. Loads of things going on. I mean, the abusive relationship would have been enough just on its own. But yeah, looking back at it now, I think bloody hell, yeah, I was like putting up with a lot of things like all at once. Whereas at the time, I couldn't understand what was going on with me because, like I said, when Rob was saying to me like you're gonna have to come off GB, but you can come back when you're on your way or whatever. Him saying you look like you're going to electric chair every Monday is how I felt. I walked in the gym and I'd think it was in the mindset. I thought everyone was talking about me. When I went in the gym, I thought everyone hated me. It was just my mind was not a nice place to be at all. But obviously, I'm not like that now. Everything's like, yeah, if everything's good, I'm on the right track and I'm just excited. It's like a fresh start, leaving the army, turning professional. I'm healthy. I'll be fighting at a weight that I'm comfortable at. and if I can talk about my experiences and how other people, then it's all good.
I think that's a great example for other people out there. It's, there's a lot of coverage of these sort of issues at the moment. I think it's good to have people in a position like yours to talk about it. I mean, I guess just to kind of move away from this subject, what would you say to young girls or ladies, adults out there who are going through similar problems to you were? What would you advise them to do?
It's a hard one. So I was like, do you mean about the sort of abusive relationship?
Well, both that and also just being depressed and not
Yeah,
knowing where to turn.
Not just stay and keep it to yourself. Like, I didn't want to talk to nobody. I'd switch my phone off. I'd sit in this room, staring at the four walls. But you've got to talk to people. You've got to talk about it. And there is a lot of people feeling exactly the same as what you are.
Good stuff.
So I just think it just helps. You do need, sometimes you can't do everything by yourself. I thought I could do everything by myself. Boxing's a lonely sport. I haven't always had, and because of boxing, I've always sort of been quite on my own. Don't really have many friends. Due to, like, when you're an athlete, you're just sort of different, aren't you? You like you train all the time. You sort of, it is a lonely sport, but you can't do everything by yourself. You do need the help. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
And you talked about sticking with people that you know and that you trust. Just tell us about your training setup and why you decided to base yourself where you have.
Yeah, so I'm with Johnny Edwards. He's my trainer and manager. I'm in Southern Counties. He's always in Southern Counties. So I sort of grew up, knew me, but I've never trained with him before. But I knew he was an amateur coach for years. He's so passionate about his boxing. So, like, amateur coaches, they don't get nothing back, do they? They're given everything, but they don't really get much back. So now he's got a professional stable. He's just, someone's all about, it's a lot to do with money and stuff like that. But he was an amateur coach for years. He gives everything into training his fighters. So, and I trust him, and I like it down there at the gym. It's just good old fashioned training, nothing fancy.
And when will you be able to leave the army properly and train with him full time?
Yeah, so I signed off now. So I'm officially out the army within 9 months. I can get like early release basically, but I'm not 100% sure when I'll be able to be there training with him full time. But obviously I just need to get myself set up when I do leave. I need a steady income, because obviously the army is a security. You've got your wages. This is where I live. So it's a risk leaving, but hopefully it'll pay off.
Will you be working alongside a boxing career at least to start with, or will you be a full-time pro?
Well, I don't want to be. I want to be full-time. Yeah. Maybe training people on the side, but I don't want to be. No, I want to be training full-time, putting everything into it.
That's good to hear. And there was talk, I read something earlier, that you were looking at a pro debut potentially in the Czech Republic in April. Is that still the case?
It's May 22nd now, the show. Still aiming for that. Whether it's then or not, I've still got to get clearance from the army, whether I can do that. So, but I'm sort of aiming for then. But it'll definitely be this year around that time that I'll be having my debut. I'm looking forward to it because I haven't boxed since November 2018.
I suppose the fact that there's not fans allowed in most places in the UK at the moment makes it easier, if anything, to go out to somewhere like the Czech Republic, because you're not expecting a big support anyway.
No, and like I said, I don't care who I'm fighting or where I'm fighting. As long as I get a fight, I'm not bothered. I'm just be happy to be back boxing, back fighting. Really. So yeah, wherever or whoever, I'm not bothered.
And tell us a little bit about your life outside the ring. Obviously, we know you're in the army for at least a little bit longer. But what sort of things do you enjoy doing in your spare time when you get some?
Do you know what? I'm quite a boring person. Not really much. Well, there's not much you can do at the minute anyway. Probably listen to music, got Dolly Parton in the background.
Just from
that's all I do, really. Yeah, I sort of go. Work in the gym on the barracks. Drive to Guildford and go training. And that's it. Not really much else I do.
Where does that love of country music come from? Because it's not normally associated with a 22, 23-year-old girl.
Yeah, I know everyone says that. I think my nan Lynn, she loves all the country music. My nan Lil, and then I've just always listened to it. Really, I like all the old music.
Is that going
Yeah,
to impact on your ring walk song for your debut?
yeah, I'm gonna have these boots made for walking.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Czechs will appreciate that as well.
yeah. But the Nancy Sinatra version, not Loretta Lynn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good choice. Good choice. Now, before I let you go, we talked earlier about Instagram followers and so on, and obviously we were joking around, but do let people out there know how they can find you on the different social media platforms and kind of follow the journey.
yeah. So my Instagram is just like Ebonie Jones, but it's Ebonie spelled with an IE at the end. And that's all I got really. Obviously, my Facebook's a bit more personal, but yeah, just my Instagram.
Good stuff. All right. Well, very best of luck. Hopefully, it does take place as planned on the 22nd of May. And we
Yeah,
can maybe have another catch up after that, and you can tell us how it felt having your first professional contest.
yeah. Cheers, that mate.
All right, wicked. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
See you later.
Bye bye.